Hola, chicos! Welcome back to my Bristol Spanish YouTube channel. In our next series of drills, we'll be working with verb conjugation. Now, if you haven't watched my video, The Mechanics Explained of Spanish Verb Conjugation, it's the very first one on this page. I suggest you watch it because it'll make this introduction much easier to understand and the drills to follow easier to do. So in Spanish, there are three types of verbs. AR verbs, verbs ending in AR, ER verbs, verbs ending in ER, and IR verbs, verbs ending in IR. Now, if a verb is regular, for example, an AR verb, if it's regular, all of the endings will be the same. And for an ER verb, if it's regular, all of the endings will be the same. And for an IR verb, if it's regular, all of the endings will be the same. Have a look. In this set of drills, we'll be working in the present tense. For regular AR verbs in the present tense, such as trabajar, to work, the endings are the same. To form the conjugations, you take away the ending AR and you are left with the root or the stem of the verb. Then you add the endings o, as, a, amos, ais, an. Let's take another regular AR verb in the present tense, desayunar, to have breakfast. Again, take away the ending AR and you are left with the stem. Then add the same endings as you did for trabajar. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. Now, what happens with a stem-changing verb? Let's take pensar, to think. Pensar is a regular AR verb in the present tense, but it's stem-changing. That means that in 4 out of the 6 conjugations, the stem changes. Take away the AR and add the endings, the same endings you did for trabajar and desayunar. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. And you'll see that even though the stem changes in 4 out of the 6 conjugations, the endings are still the same. Now, let's look at some regular ER verbs in the present tense. Comer, to eat or to have lunch. Take away the ending ER and add o, es, e, hemos, eis, en. Aprender, to learn, is also regular in the present tense. Take away the ER, you're left with the stem, and you add the same endings you did for comer. O, es, e, hemos, eis, en. Now, let's look at a stem-changing verb. Querer, to want or to desire. Take away the ER, you're left with the stem, and even though that stem changes in 4 out of the 6 conjugations, the endings are still the same. O, es, e, hemos, eis, en. And finally, some regular IR verbs. Vivir, to live, in the present tense, is formed by taking away the IR, you're left with the stem, and then you add o, es, e, imos, is, en. Escribir, to write, is also regular in the present tense. Take away the IR, you're left with the stem, and add the same endings as you did with vivir. O, es, e, imos, is, en. You'll notice that these endings for regular IR verbs in the present tense are very similar to the endings in the ER verbs. Finally, let's look at a stem-changing verb, dormir, to sleep. Again, you take away the IR and add the same endings as you did for vivir and escribir. And even though in 4 out of the 6 conjugations the stem changes, the endings are still the same. O, es, e, imos, is, en. Okay, was that clear? Now, a regular verb just means that it follows a pattern. So you've just seen the patterns. In the future, I'll do another series of drills on irregular verbs. See you in the next drill session. Adios!